Hi guys, and welcome back to another day video in the shove multiplication lesson. We are focusing on different ways of multiplying and trying to figure out ways and methods of how you can get faster and faster at multiplication, because it is an important part of maths and our daily life. So we're going to do a lot of practice on it from now on. So for today's session, what you're going to need is a pencil, some paper, and the worksheet from the website under Year 4 Maths section. So before we can move on to the main lesson, we're going to do our times tables test. Last week we focused on what times table was it, guys? Well done, it was the 3 times table. This week we're going to go on to the 4 times table. So every week we're going to go onto our times tables. Okay, so for today's session, your first question is 4 times 3, and you've got 4 times 5, and then 4 times 7, 4 times 2, 4 times 8, 4 times 11, 4 times 4, and 4 times 9. I want you to pause the video for a minute and answer the following questions before you move on to correcting your answers. So here is your times tables test answers. Pause the video to check how many you've got correct. Hopefully you got all 8 out of 8. If you didn't get 8 out of 8, we're doing 10 star jumps for each question you got wrong. So please, try to mark it accurately and no cheating, because, you're doing this for yourself. You need to know your times tables, because in your assessments you won't be able to get help from anybody or look at anything. So it's very important that you are doing this correctly. So for today's session, we're going to be able to multiply 2-digit by 1-digit numbers using the expanded multiplication method. Okay, so I want you to write the short date top right hand corner and the learning intention underline. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to set out the calculations correctly, partition the calculation and multiply the ones and tens, then the tens, and add the calculations together to find the answer. Okay, so who remembers what you did last week in our multiplication lesson? Pause the video for 30 seconds and try to remember what you learned or what you did. You can tell an adult or just remind yourself. Okay, so well done. Last week we looked at the column method of multiplication and borrowing over, regrouping. Okay, so we did a bit of that last week. Today we're going to look at expanded multiplication. We're going to learn a new method of multiplication called the expanded multiplication. Expanded multiplication is like the grid method but quicker to write down. So next week we're going to learn the grid method. We are going to lay our multiplication problems out in columns instead of grids. So expanded multiplication. 36 times 7. Lay out your calculations in a grid. Work out 6 times 7 and write the answer here. Work out 30 times 7 and write the answer here. Add them together and then write your total answer at the bottom. So as you can see, it is very important to set out your calculations correctly. The tens under the tens, ones under the ones, and hundreds under the hundreds. If your numbers overlap and are not set out correctly, the answers will always come out wrong. So it is very important to know what's being multiplied and to multiply the correct thing. So as you can see over here, that 3, if you do 3 times 7, that's 21. If you write 21 here, you're going to get a totally, completely wrong answer. So this here is 30 times 7. It is very important to know that this is a 30. So you do 30 times 7 to get your answer, not 3 times 7, because it's not that's not a 1, that's a 10. It's 3 tens, which equals 30. Okay, so let's have a look at this example over here. We've got the ones over here. That's a 1, which is an 8. That's 8 ones. How many tens is this? Is it 4 or is it 40? Well done. This is 4 tens. This is 40. So it's not 4, it's 40. And everything has been set out correctly underneath each other, aligned. So what's the first step? Laying out your calculations correctly. Then you work out the 8 times 8, which is 64. And then we work out 8 times, is it 8 times 4 or 8 times 40? Well done. It's 8 times 40 or 40 times 8. And then you write the calculations like that. And then you add them all together to get your answer. Now let's move on to the next one. How many ones is this over here? Those are both 8 ones. And this is 6 tens, which is 60. So your first step, it's laid out correctly. I want you to pause the video and work this out by yourself to see whether you get the correct answer or not. The layout has already been done for you, so I want you to try and go ahead and attempt this. Pause the video for a minute to see if you can get this correct. Okay, so let's go through the answers. Your first step is to multiply the ones. So that's 8 ones times 8 ones, which is 64. Your next step is to multiply the tens by the ones. So which is 6 tens is 60 times the 8, which is 60 times 8, which is 480. Then you add it all together. If there are more than 9 tens, regroup them as hundreds and then write them under the hundreds column. Remember to add them onto the total. So your total answer is 544. Okay, now let's try this one. I want you to pause the video again and attempt this one by yourself. The layout has been done correctly on this video. Make sure you are laying or setting out your calculations correctly on your piece of paper. Okay, so your calculations laid out. Work out the 4 times 6. Write the answer in there. Then your next step, well done, is work out 80 times 6, which is the same as 8 times 6, a 0 has been added. And then you add it all together, and then remember that the one that's more than 9s, you need to move them over to the hundreds column and add them onto the total. Okay, so what I want you to do now, I want you to pause the video and let's do a quick practice of some of these questions. There's a bronze medal, silver and gold. I want you to attempt these questions on your piece of paper before we move on to the main task. If you feel really confident, attempt the gold ones. If you feel you're like, yeah, okay, I can try the silver. And if you are finding it a bit tricky, try the bronze. Remember to set out your calculations correctly, under ones under ones and tens under tens. That is the key in making sure you get the correct answer. Okay, so pause the video for around 3 to 4 minutes and attempt the medal that you feel is suitable for you. Okay, so I am just going to show you the answers now that you should have got when attempting or after attempting to work these out. If your answers are correct, well done. If you feel like you've made a small mistake here or there, try to redo the same question again, because sometimes, you know, we humans, you know, make silly mistakes, and you know, we miss a number or don't see it, or see, you know, 5 as a 6 or 4 as a 7 or something. So redo it. Okay, so let's try some of these missing numbers. Oh no, my pen's leaked on my work. Can you work out which digits are missing in this expanded multiplication calculation? So let's have a look at the first one. 43 times something equals 172. So who remembers what the first step was? What do we multiply together? Well done. We multiplied the ones. So what I'm going to do is I've started you off. We start by multiplying the ones. Pause the video for around 3 to 4 minutes and attempt the following 2 questions before we can move on to the main task. Okay, so well done. Now that you've tried to attempt it, we can go through it. So we start off with the ones. 3 times something gives us 12. 3 times what gives me 12? Well done. 3 times 4. So if 3 times 4 gives me 12, 40 times 4 must give me 160, and then we add it together to get 172. Well done. Now we need to work out the next one. So 50 something times 5 gives us 285. So we start off with the ones. 5 times something gives me 35. So I count up in my 5 times table. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So using my fingers now, I know that 5 times 7 gives me 35. So that answer must be 57 times 5 gives us 285. So 50 times 5 is 250. Well done. So this is what you should have got. Okay, guys, so if you are still a bit confused on how to use the expanded multiplication method, I've also put in this link over here for you guys to go on to and watch this video. It's a 3.5 minute video to help you further deepen your understanding. I think it's worthwhile watching. You will get something out of it. So please watch this video before you move on to the main task, just so that I can help you a little bit further, even if you haven't understood it. Just you know, watch the video. It is quite a nice, interesting, informative video as well. Okay guys, so if you go on the Grained website, under the Year 4 math section, you will see the expanded multiplication method. There's challenge 1 and there's also challenge 2. On your worksheet, you also see an example of how to work out or how to use the expanded multiplication method. So you don't need to watch the video again. You could just use the example on the sheet with the instructions as well. And when working it out, please make sure to set out your calculation correctly, to start at the right hand side when calculating, multiplying the ones first, then the tens, so on and so forth, going on to the hundreds. And then to also make sure that you regroup the tens and hundreds and record it in the next column when it's carried over. Okay, so I hope you've learned something today, and use these methods in your maths or any multiplication that you have to do anytime. So good luck with the work. Send over any good work that you do and enjoy the rest of your day. Please make sure you are emailing the work, and it will be putting shout out videos, any amazing work that you guys do send over. We are all very proud of all the work that you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing well. So again, next week you will be learning the 5 times table, so make sure you practice your 5 times tables before next week's session, so that when we do it, you can ace it. So good luck guys, and bye.